All right, so let's talk about some rules of the road coming from a post that we just posted on our community tab and other social platforms. Now, this got me thinking, and I thought this would make a great video as well as what you think or what you have as rules of the road. So let's get started. Hey everyone, my name is Chris and welcome to the Rideshare Guy. And today, we have a list of rules of the road that a driver posted and we posted on our socials here at the Rideshare Guy. So let's go right to it. This driver put on his car that says, please follow the rules. And it says, always buckle up. That's a good rule right there. Let's be real. Then he said, no kids without a safety car seat. Absolutely. If you are caught with children in the car and you don't have a car seat for those that do need it, then you can get into some serious trouble. And if there's an accident, oh boy, that's going to be even worse because the family could come after you as well as the company. But more importantly, you want to protect yourself. So make sure you follow the law because you could lose your license and other things and be deactivated. And you don't want to deal with that. So children with car seats is a must. If you live in a state that you don't know your rules, find out what they are so you know. And then that way, in the event that it's kind of on the threshold, meaning maybe the child's 8 and doesn't need a car seat, well, then at least at that point, you know, and you know the law. So pay attention and always continually check because they do change the law when it comes to child car seats all of the time. So make sure you do that. The next one, no smoking or vaping. That's actually a rule when it comes to Uber and Lyft. There is no smoking or vaping inside a vehicle. Vaping is not really on that list, but smoking definitely is. But vaping is one of those things that, yeah, it gets very annoying very quickly. And nobody wants to smell your cherry junk crap and puff on it like crazy and get all hazy and stuff in the car if the air's running or something like that. Be courteous. It's somebody else's car. And I'm talking to passengers at this point. When it comes to drivers, I'm sure you're probably feeling the same exact way. But it's going to depend on what you want to do when it comes there. Just remember, though, that no smoking is a rule both on Uber and Lyft in the platform. The next one says, drinks and food must be closed at all times. Now, this is definitely going to be driver by driver specific, and a lot of drivers do not want food or drinks eaten or drinking in their car because they've probably run into problems already with passengers opening up a bag of chips and then all the chips going all over the back seat and the floor, crunching and being a problem, or, eating something like a taco and then all the meat just falls out. I mean, come on. Like, how rude do you have to be at that point to eat for your 8-minute ride? Like, just wait the few minutes, right? So that's definitely a rule that some passengers have to follow in a car, maybe not. And again, driver specific. So what do you do? Now let's look at the next one, and that is absolutely no drinking or eating in the car, which follows the one just before. If you got to keep it closed, that means no eating or drinking. So that type of thing there. Absolutely no makeup. So that driver probably had some sort of issue when it comes to makeup. Maybe you saw the funny video where somebody slammed on the brakes and their face caked on the back of the seat. Maybe it was that driver. I don't know. But maybe they saw that and said no makeup. Maybe there was a problem with makeup being applied in the car. Personally, I don't know what that is. But, if you've had problems with somebody in the past doing something, you're definitely going to be more keen on not wanting that to happen again. So the next one says no sharp objects. You don't want your seats punctured. You don't want yourself to be punctured. You don't want those types of problems. So yeah, something like that, you probably want to make sure there's no sharp objects that are going to be carried by passengers. Next one says no loud phone calls. How many times have you picked up a passenger and they're on their phone? Oh, yeah. Or they're talking on the phone where you don't hear what the other person is saying and they're loud as loud could be. They're yelling in the car and it's like, dude, we're in a car. Inside voice. Do you remember that from kindergarten? Inside voice? So yeah, that can be a real hassle. It's definitely a pain in the ass for sure. And I'm sure anybody who's been driving for a couple of days has had that person come in talking real loud on the phone. Pain in the ass for sure. But how do you handle that? Comment below, let us know. All right, let's go to the next one. It says no restaurants drive-through. I 100% agree with that. I've done that where I've taken people to the drive-thru and I've told them, I said, look, the drive-thru is long. You know how long that's going to take? We're going to be sitting here for like 30 minutes. I'm not getting paid for that. And, we're just going to be sitting. So if you want to go inside, order the food and come out, by all means. But the only thing is, I just request that you don't eat your food in the car. But yeah, when it comes to restaurant drive-thrus, just know some of these drive-thrus, you could be sitting there for 20, 30 minutes, depending on what's going on. And also, this particular driver said, no food in my car. And this could be one of those things where they're like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that. So it's going to be, again, driver dependent on what you want to do. And do you go through restaurant drive-thrus or not? Again, let us know in the comments. All right, let's go to the next one, and that is no stops over 5 minutes. 100%. Why? Because a stop is only maxed at 5 minutes for Uber and Lyft. So anything longer than that, hey, guess what? You're going to have to order another ride. So if you have stuff in your car that is being left as called anchors, which is purse, sometimes children, other things like that, say, hey, if you're going to be longer than 5 minutes, I can only wait 5 minutes. I have another ride in the queue coming up and, we got to keep it going. I can't wait more than 5 minutes because that is the only amount of time that is allotted. If you think you are going to be longer, please grab all of your belongings and take it with you. Otherwise, you may have to be charged a return fee or something like that. Or some people could say, hey, I'm going to leave your stuff at the side of the road and you can get it then. So the easiest thing is just to have them take it. But yes, when it comes to wait times at places for stops, it's only 5 minutes. So if you see that they're going to Walmart, there's no way in hell that they are going to be less than 5 minutes because it takes 20 minutes just to stand in the line to check out at self-checkout, not to mention how long it takes at a regular checkout. So yes, be smart on that and know it's only 5 minutes. And, when it comes to wait time, you don't get paid when you're sitting there waiting for somebody. You get paid when there's a butt in the car and the wheels are moving. That's when you make money. If you're not, you're sitting there with your thumb in your butt and not getting paid. All right, so the next one is appropriate clothing required at all times. Again, I'd like to know what happened to this driver that there was not appropriate clothing. Maybe they were changing in the back of the car. Maybe something was going on. I don't know, but yeah, when it comes down to it, the other thing could be beachwear. If you live near a beach and there's some times where people are getting in and they're wearing, their beach clothes full of sand and stuff like that, that could be a potential issue that this driver is facing. Personally, I'm not sure what that's meaning from their standpoint, but what would you say to that? Do you think there should be appropriate clothing worn at all times? And have you had a problem where inappropriate clothing or inappropriate something has happened? Another thing for passengers out there, a lot of drivers carry dash cameras, so they're going to see what's going on in the back as well too. So if you don't want your giblies out on the net, you might not want to be doing that. So yeah, keep your clothes on. All right, the next one is no open cuts or wounds. Yeah, that's kind of a unwritten rule, I guess you could say, because open wounds and blood and that can actually be considered toxic. If you have to get blood cleaned up, they actually need a special crew to do that because of the toxicity nature of blood. So yeah, that type of thing is definitely something. But again, I want to know what happened to this particular driver that had to put that into their list. So make sure you comment below if you've had something like that and what you thought. So let us know. All right, the next one is please cover your mouth when coughing and sneezing. Yeah, 100%. We're in a small little area. I don't want to get sick. I sure as hell don't want to be coughing and sneezing all over you too. You don't want that. I don't want that as a driver. So the reality is, yeah, please cover your mouth. It's called just being a decent human being. And I agree with that particular rule because I sure as hell don't want to get sick. All right, let's talk about the next one. And that is I do not change GPS and routes. All right, so you get the GPS, the route, all right through the app, whether you're using a different map or not, that's up to you. But we all have that backseat driver. Oh yeah, turn down this way, turn down that way, go the other way, go whatever it is. Sure, we all hate backseat drivers, I'm sure. The only time backseat driving I don't mind is if there's a closure that is not on the app, or maybe they just changed the rules of the road where it's a one-way and you have to go around and the map hasn't been updated. That is absolutely welcomed. But when it comes to you trying to dictate the ride and what to do, just get in your own car and drive home, because I don't need to deal with it, and other drivers don't want to deal with it either. Am I right? I don't know. Comment below, let me know. All right, with that being said, let's move to the next one. And that says, do not leave trash. A cleaning fee will apply. Yeah, you know what? That is a major problem. Passengers just don't care. Why? It's not their car. They're like, fuck it, I don't really care. So what does it matter? Again, going back to the bag of chips. You have a bag of chips, you're eating it, and then all of a sudden the chips are all across the bottom of the floor, crunched in the carpet, all that problem. And then the best part is they just crumple up the bag and throw it on the ground. Why do people have to do that? Why do you got to be an asshole? I don't know, but stop doing that. Please, for the love of God and all that is holy, be a decent human being. And do not leave your trash for somebody else to have to pick your trash up and throw it out. A lot of drivers will have a trash bag in their car that you can use, or just hold on to it, put it in a purse, put it in a bag, whatever. Hold on to it until you get out, throw it in the garbage can that's right probably there or in your house. Okay, sounds good? Awesome. All right, let's go to the next one. And that is ride share only for number of people requested in the app. And I agree with this one as well, too. I have an XL vehicle, which means I can actually fit up to 6 people in the car through the Uber and Lyft app. But when it comes down to you ordering just an Uber or a Lyft regular ride, that's up to 4 people. Same thing with Comfort, Extra Comfort, up to 4 people per ride. So with that being said, the insurance is only on up to 4 people for that ride. Passengers will try to cheap out, and they'll put 6, 7 people sometimes into the car when it comes to a regular ride. And hopefully they'll get an XL, but it's not guaranteed. So you might have a little Toyota Corolla, and there's 5, 6 people waiting outside. You ain't gonna fit everybody in there. And it's also a very big safety issue, especially in the fact if you get into an accident or you get pulled over or anything like that. They're gonna ticket you as the driver, not anybody else. You, because you let it happen. Remember, only the amount of people that are allowed in the car should be getting in. You could say, hey, look, you might have hit X by accident. You're supposed to order an XL. What you can do is you can cancel, reorder the ride. I'm right here. It should come to me. If it does, then hop right in. But, blame it on Uber, blame it on Lyft. Take it to them. Say, you ordered an X. It's only for 4 people. If something happens, I can't allow that to happen to me. I can't, get a ticket. Oh, come on, man. I'll give you an extra $100. You're going to give me an extra $100 when you're already too cheap to go $6 cheaper on an X ride? Don't fall for that crap. So when it comes to the amount of people that are in the car, please make sure of that. And if you drive an XL vehicle like myself, watch out for those 7, 8, 9 people that they try to fit in the car as well too, because that happens more than you think. So make sure you follow those rules. And when it comes down to it, some of these are legal rules that you have to follow, like the child seat and how many people you can fit in your car. Those types of things definitely are on the laws. So if you get pulled over, if you get into an accident, guess who's on you? So that makes you completely liable. And the insurance company for Uber and Lyft can say, guess what? You weren't paying attention to the rules, so you are on the hook now for every damage that is done. And that's their plausible deniability that they have when it comes down to it. So make sure you stay in line. Some of these other rules, when it comes down to it, like no makeup, hey, that's up to the driver. That's up to what previously it had happened. Clearly, some of the things that happened, this driver drives at night. I can guarantee that, because those are a lot of the rules of the road that you'd see more at night than you would see during the day, at least in my opinion. But like I said, I want to know, what do you think? Do you think that these rules are a little overreaching? Do you think that they're spot on, or would you add more or change them? What would you do? Make sure you comment below. Let us know. And make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications for all the videos that we got coming out here on the Rideshare Guy. And also, if you want to see how Lyft made a great change for drivers, but is it actually going to make a real difference in the long run? Check out this video right here where Lyft maxed out their earnings that you can make per ride and made it a lot higher. So check it out, and we'll see you guys in the next one.